Hi everyone, we're live. I've got Dion shaking her head because we're having tech issues and she can't hear me and I can't hear her. So she might have to pop off for a second and try with another device. So bear with us. I'm just going to send her another quick message in private chat. And we'll see how it goes. If she can't join for some reason, this could be a very short LinkedIn Live with me, just chatting, and we'll try and do it again. It's the joys of tech, okay? So I'm just going to send her another quick message because I know she can't hear a word. I'll take it from here for a few minutes. And if you can't, oh no, she's gone. I can't even type to her. Anyway, hello, Ajit. There's somebody live, so at least I know I'm live. It'd be great to know where people are joining me from today, or whether you're watching this on replay. If you're watching it on replay, just put in hashtag replay in the comments. So as you can see, slight technical difficulties. I'm supposed to be interviewing Dion, or we're supposed to be interviewing each other about employee engagement and advocacy on LinkedIn, but we're having problems with the tech and I can't hear Dion and she can't hear me when she joins me with StreamYard. So fingers crossed she's going to be able to join in a moment. If she can't, I will just talk for a few minutes about it and we'll try and have a joint one when we can. And I just want to say apologies first off for anyone who booked in last week to join this. I was really sick on the day, so I had to cancel it. So it looks like we're slightly jinxed. It could be a case of third time lucky and we'll get there in the end. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jennifer Corcoran. I'm a LinkedIn trainer and strategist, and I help organizations with lunch and learns and workshops on employee advocacy and engagement on LinkedIn. I also help individuals such as executives, job seekers, entrepreneurs, and students. I help them to polish up their LinkedIn profiles and to connect with finesse. And I'm a big believer in using LinkedIn holistically and organically. I'm all about organic reach on the free version of LinkedIn and about learning how to use LinkedIn in a way that suits you and your personality, because I don't believe in a one size fits all approach for LinkedIn. And that also counts to your employees. All of your employees will have different personality types. Some will be introverts, some will be extroverts, some will want to create content for your company, others will be happy to engage and comment and like, and others might prefer to engage in Messenger behind the scenes. And that's absolutely fine because we're all different. We all network in different ways. So no sign of Diana joining me, but I'm just going to chat a little bit about employee engagement and advocacy on LinkedIn, because I believe this is a very untapped area. When I do searches on LinkedIn and bring up various company types, it's clear to me that a lot of companies are not investing in their employees on LinkedIn. They all have different branding, different cover banners. Some of them have professional headshots, others don't. They're not really presenting the company in the same way. So the brand is mismatched. Which is a shame, because I do believe your employees can be your biggest advocates and influencers for your company. And the biggest resource any company has is their employees, and especially in a time like now. So Dion has joined me again. Fingers crossed we're going to be able to hear and see. And let's see. Can you hear me, Dion?
Okay. Oh, I'm trying to
You can,
turn
I
my
can hear you. I can hear you. So this is great.
Wow. I don't know which way to put this camera. Sorry.
No, that's all good. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. I'm glad
Cool.
you're here, and don't worry, you haven't really missed much. I just did an introduction. I asked people if they were joining live or replay. I just introduced myself and I just chatted a little bit about employee engagement and advocacy on LinkedIn. And I was just saying that employees are the biggest resources that a company has. And if they're not tapping into those employees, it is a bit of a shame, because they can be your biggest advocates and influencers. So I'll let you
Yeah.
catch up for a second. So as you can see, Dion's here and she's live, which is brilliant. So I'm going to allow her to just do a quick introduction so she can tell us all who she is. You might have seen her on another live with me. We did one last year about branding. So Dion, if you could just tell us roughly, who you are, and if you could just break down what you think employee engagement and advocacy is, that would be fab.
Okay, cool. So I'm the founder and MD of DPS Brand Consultancy. So that's my business. I support predominantly service-based entrepreneurs and professionals to create a authentic, visible, and confident brand for themselves and for their business. And I also help them to ensure that they create their marketing and services in the best possible way. So that's basically what I do. I am a coach, a consultant, speaker, trainer, and a business growth mentor, which is one of my more recent accolades, which I'm quite proud of. In terms of employee brand advocacy, from my perspective, it's about supporting your employees to be their best, to showcase the best of themselves, and to showcase the best of your business. So if you're looking to improve your relationships with your employees, and help them feel engaged in the business and that they have something that they can share with their audience to support the brand, then that's what employee advocacy is. It's helping them with all those things that are both personal and professional to them in terms of their development and the development of the business. So that's what I see it as being. It's a lot more all encompassing than it sounds, and especially when it comes to LinkedIn, that's the perfect platform as a professional social media platform to help your employees to really showcase the best of themselves and the best of the business.
That's brilliant. So it's very much a win-win, and I totally agree. It's about empowering your employees really as well to put their best foot forward. And it was really interesting. For those of you who don't know, myself and Dion, I'm just going to do a blatant little show off here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. We created, I can hard, yeah, you can see it there. Yeah. We created this white paper recently, and we've shared it in the event page for this LinkedIn Live if you look in, and I've shared it on my home feed. And if anybody wants a copy, reach out to us. And I posted it the other day, and one of my LinkedIn connections, Jodie, came back and raised a very valuable point, which I had kind of forgotten about. A lot of companies block LinkedIn and social media on their firewalls. And it reminded me that I actually had that issue in the past as well. And I think it's such a shame when they block LinkedIn, because it is such a valuable resource for employees. It's the largest professional network in the world. And I remember in one of my roles, I had to submit a business case to HR so that I could get access to LinkedIn. And my boss approved it, and then eventually HR approved it. But I was like the only PA, office manager in my company, to get it because I put forward the business case. And I definitely was using it in my role. I wasn't on LinkedIn to find a new job. I was on LinkedIn to actually do my job better. So I was, connecting with my colleagues around the world, my clients, suppliers to the company, peers, so I could, learn and develop and do my job better. So I think, hopefully, now I last left corporate in 2016 before setting up my business, but hopefully companies are getting a bit more on board and giving their employees access to LinkedIn and not thinking of it as Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or Clubhouse or any of the rest, because it's different. So I don't know if you've ever had that experience in companies where you were blocked access to LinkedIn as an employee.
I think probably in the earlier years of LinkedIn, when it first came out, maybe not so much. Probably not in the last couple of companies I worked for. No, I think it was open, but they do, obviously they're worried about people spending too much time on social platforms and not doing the work that they're being paid for. But essentially, if you can, like you said, make it a win-win, so that when they are using it, they're using it for the benefit of raising their profile as a professional within that business and for the business, then it puts a completely different spin on why they should be using it. and why
Definitely.
it should be open.
Definitely. And I know it's a worry, but I think as long as you're doing your job and you get your job done and you can prove the added like value benefit. I know for me, I was connecting with a lot of suppliers and I managed to negotiate discounts globally on hotels. And, you know, when I had to book a last minute table for my boss or my team, I could pretty much get into any restaurant in London and I could get them in pretty much any hotel. So I kind of proved
Mm-hmm.
the benefit. And actually, with the suppliers, I was able to add some services onto our employee kind of portal as well. So I think once you are justifying why you're using it and building your network and adding value to your role, it is a very much a valuable resource. But obviously, you don't want to be spending your whole time on LinkedIn, and I wouldn't advocate that to anyone. It's just about using it strategically and making the best out of it. So I'm sorry
Yeah,
to go off on tangent. Dion is amazing. She helped me to put together the agenda for today. And
yeah.
both said we're going to chat about some stats. You have, first of all, put in the agenda company pages and also personal branding on LinkedIn. So I don't know if you want to start, Dion, and just chat a little bit about what you think personal branding on LinkedIn means.
Well, everybody has a personal brand. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on any kind of social platform and you're promoting your services or your expertise, then essentially you have a personal brand. And I know that a lot of employees probably aren't doing that actively because I think the mindset is that, well, I've got a job, so I don't necessarily need to promote my expertise to anyone but the people within the company, unless they're in a client facing role, so anyone in sales or marketing or HR. So unless they're in a external facing role, they probably don't feel that they need to showcase their expertise. But this is about your reputation, it's about your credibility, it's about your experience, your skills, your knowledge, and sharing the best of who you are and what you can do and what you've achieved as well. So that's what your personal brand does for you, and it doesn't belong to anyone else, it belongs to you. It's your unique selling point. It's your IP, so you have to take care of it. Whether you are with one company or another, or you're working for yourself, it's yours. So that's the main thing I want to get across to people about their personal brand. And LinkedIn is the obvious and ideal platform for sharing your personal brand because it is a professional platform. It is about your knowledge, your skills, and your experience, and what you can share with your customers and clients, and show your leadership, show your ability to do your job to the best of your ability. That's what LinkedIn is for, and to make those connections and build those relationships. So it's super important to take care of your personal brand if you are showcasing yourself as a professional.
Definitely. I love that. And you've reminded me of a comment earlier on today, and I could see that actually I did a LinkedIn Live this morning with the lovely Adam Woods, and he's on. And we were also echoing that, your personal brand is your USP. There's only really one of you in the world, so you have to fully embrace that. And,
Yeah.
we all have a personal brand, whether we're aware of it or not. It's what other people, to quote Jeff Bezos, it's what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So it's about how you're showing up in real life and online, and your reputation and your credibility, and your personal brand carries throughout your life and your career and your business. So you really need to invest in it because you're going to have that longevity of a career or a business, hopefully, and that personal brand will go with you. And I think a lot of employees or individuals think they don't really need to explore that brand, like you said, because they work for somebody else. But you're working for yourself at the end of the day,
As
and
well.
you don't know who you're going to end up working for down the line. Maybe you're going to have a change of direction, or maybe you're going to want to set up a business, or maybe you're going to want to transfer to another department within your company. So you really need to showcase your expertise and the value you bring. And I do think, especially in the last year with COVID, we're seeing a lot more employees and companies really having to embrace a more entrepreneurial mindset, because the world has changed. For example, I used to be a PA. Now all PAs are VAs. They're all virtual, and we're all managers of our time and our days. So I think you really have to embrace that kind of growth mindset and invest in who you are as an individual. And a lot of people don't invest on LinkedIn. They are shy to kind of embrace their skills and their expertise. I get lots of people saying to me, oh, I don't want to write too much in the about section. I don't want to bore people. I just do a sentence. And I'm like, no, this is for you to toot your horn and your value. And it will enable you to connect with people faster because they look at your profile and they'll go, okay, he or she looks the part. They look good. I want to chat with them. I want to connect with them. They look credible, so you're not doing yourself a favor by not kind of investing in your personal brand.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something, and I'll be honest, I never really heard much about it, learned much about it when I was in corporate. It's something I've kind of embraced really since I set up in business. But I do believe all employees need to embrace it really in order to really just make the most of yourself on LinkedIn and to build that career or business that you love. So I'm going to go off tangent here, but I'm trying to get back to my Dion's very good. She knows I like to ad lib and go off. So we're kind of on strict little deadlines with our coaches. So the next section was company pages and employee advocacy. So if you are a company, you have a company page, and if you don't, you should have a company page because it's a place where all of you can showcase everything great about your company, and your employees can also actively share content from your company page. For example, if you are hiring new staff, they can share that on their personal profiles. And who wouldn't want to share job vacancies at this time? It's a really great thing to do. They can also share valuable resources from your company page. Maybe you've just written a white paper like we have, or you've got some interesting information or stats or videos or any kind of content that's educational or informative that you want to share with your wider network. And I think it is a great place to start really when it comes to LinkedIn and making the most of your employees and getting them to be advocates for you, because it's far more powerful for an employee to say your company is great than for you to say it's great yourself. I did a study and they said, there's 7 times more reach when an employee shares something than the actual brand itself. And we actually discussed this a little bit this morning in my LinkedIn Live with Adam, because people buy people, and personal reach on LinkedIn is really big in comparison to like brand reach. So when an individual like us says something, we pay attention more so than a brand. If you think of even TripAdvisor, if we're looking for a hotel or a restaurant, we go and we look up what did a human being, an individual like us say. So if an employee says, come and work with my company, they're amazing, they're doing, innovative things in XYZ, we look at that because it's like, wow, okay, they really are proud to work for that company. They love the values that that company stands for, and they're telling me, why I should check them out, as opposed to it coming from the company always itself, because we're all kind of bombarded by marketing on a daily basis. We're all publishers, we're all content creators, we all see content all the time, but when an individual says something, we buy into it a lot more. So I definitely think if you're stuck and you're a company and you're not sure how your employees can engage, just get them to regularly check in on your company page and check for updates, see what's happening. Some of them might want to share openly content on the home feed. Some may be shyer. They might want to copy a link and email it to somebody in Messenger and say, look, my company's just in this report, or my team has got this vacancy, I thought of you. That is super powerful as well. So you don't always have to be getting the employees to shout about it on the home feed. You need to kind of be mindful of everyone's personality types, because some will embrace the home feed and being social like that. Some will prefer to be behind the scenes in Messenger. But I definitely think it's an amazing resource for your employees to engage on and to comment and to share. So I'm trying to stick to the agenda. Dion's given me a few stats, and we were just going to chat, well, some general stats. according to Status Brew, close to half the world's population, just over 3 billion, are on some kind of social media, which is huge. So really, if your employees and staff are not on LinkedIn, there are close to 725 million professionals around the world on it now. You really are missing out on a trick, because LinkedIn has massive organic reach in comparison to any other platform. And like we said, it's the professional platform. The mission of LinkedIn is to connect all of the professionals around the world and make them more productive. That is the actual mission of LinkedIn. So if you are not tapping into your employees, you're really losing out, because it can really help with your productivity, your profitability, your personal brand, your brand reputation. So you're really missing out a trick, because social media is not going away, LinkedIn's not going away, and it's the ones who are taking advantage that will shine. And at the moment, there's a massive organic reach. Only about 1% of the users of LinkedIn are actually posting content. So we've got 90% of LinkedIn users just lurking and scrolling in the background, and 9% of people are engaging, so commenting and liking. So how amazing if you could get your employees being the 1% of content creators, or even engaging, being in that top 10% and actively engaging with your company page, so that it trickles onto the home feed, their home feed, and it can reach their first, second, and third degree connections. So you're really missing out on a trick if you don't really.
That's a really, sorry to cut you, that's a really interesting stat when you think about that, there's over 700 million people on the platform, and only, 700 odd thousand are posting. That's
Yeah.
that's you know
It's huge.
that's
It's huge potential.
Yeah, that is huge potential, because if you can get your company to, our job, our mission with what we're doing today is to get more companies to join that top 10%, as you said. So we can increase that level of reach, and increase that statistic, because that's something that we can all benefit from as business owners and employees. So definitely huge potential there.
Definitely. And it's a win-win, like we said at the start. The employees feel empowered when a company invests in their staff and gives them the tools to do their job better, training. I know whenever I got CPD, continued personal development, I felt valued as an employee. And when you don't get offered that, you don't feel valued. So when you do feel valued, you are going to shout out about your company, and that can reap benefits for the companies in question. So it's a great thing to tap into. And I am mindful of our agenda. I have a few more stats. I don't even know if you've got it printed out, because we had basically, if you look at our white paper, we've got a whole list of stats in relation to general employee advocacy stats, stats for HR, stats for marketing, stats for communications. So I have you down, Dion, as sharing some of the stats for marketing, and I think it was branding, for sales and communication.
So employee advocacy stats for marketing, and all of these are in the white paper too. So it's, don't worry about writing them down if you're listening to this call. But so brand messages reached 561% further when shared by an employee versus the same messages shared via official brand social channels. And that's a stat from MSL Group. And then the next one was leads developed through employee social marketing convert 7 times more frequently than other leads. Can you imagine your lead generation increasing by 7 times more than it would under any other circumstances, just because your employee shared it?
For free as well. For free. You're not having to waste
exactly
on advertising. It's free.
Not only are you generating more revenue, you're maximizing what you are spending, if you're needing to spend anything. And then for sales, 73% of salespeople using social selling as part of their sales process outperformed their sales peers and exceeded quota 23% more often. So that's from Aberdeen Group. So again, you know, a massive amount of opportunity and benefit there for the business. An employee advocacy program can drive 16% better win rates, 2 times pipeline, and deliver 48% larger deals. 48% larger deals.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like some of that, but then I don't have any employees presently. I outsource a lot of stuff, so. But you know, when I get some, I'll definitely be using that to my advantage. And in terms of communication, 85% of employees said they're most motivated when management offers regular updates on company news, and that's from Trade Press. And use of social software by employees can improve productivity by 20 to 25%, and that's from McKinsey. So, you know, just those things alone, it just show how much investing in your employees and helping them to feel engaged and motivated to share your business content with their audience is going to bring you huge benefits for your business. So, you know, it doesn't take much to get something like this started, and to help your employees to understand what types of content they can share, how they can maximize their personal brand profile, and be proud of who they are, be proud of what they've achieved, be proud of working for your company, because ultimately that's, you know, that's the biggest loyalty that you can gain from an employee, that they're proud of working for you and that they're happy to shout it from the rooftops. That's what you ideally want, and they're happy to work for you. They're happy to promote the brand, and they're going to do it on a regular basis because they have your support behind them to do that. So yeah. Great.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think I love that shouting from the rooftops. That is priceless, as MasterCard says. It is priceless, and it's free advertising. You can't buy that kind of exposure. And I think when you do empower your employees with education and personal development, they're going to love you for it, and they will shout out about it, and they will be proud to work for you and proud to shout it from the rooftops on LinkedIn. And that is like so valuable for exposure for them as well, for their personal brand, but also for the company brand. And I know I felt very empowered. That's how I started to use LinkedIn. Really, was I started to study LinkedIn as a hobby. But then I positioned it. I went to my boss. I wrote a business case. I had paid for it training independently, and I presented my case and said, "Look, actually, I've been using this in my day role, and it's allowed me to achieve X, Y, Z." And they were like, "Fine, cover the cost of my training." And actually they empowered me to go off and do a whole lot more training, because they could see the value that I was adding to the company. While I was in my last role, I was lucky enough to win a few awards. So I won a regional award, the most networked PA in London, which was really good for me at the time. Like I said, it really helped me with hotels and restaurants. I could just kind of tap into lots of suppliers and really benefit my boss, my team, and my company at large. I also won a National Rising Star Award and a global award from Pittman as one of their super achievers. So not only was it good for me as an individual, it was good for my company, because it showcased that my company was investing time and training and knowledge into their staff, and it was a great place to work. So I do think it's definitely a win-win when you empower staff and then they get that confidence to take off. And initially I was quite probably shy on LinkedIn for a few years and focused mainly on Messenger. Like I said, building up those relationships with colleagues and clients and suppliers, peers. But then I started to get braver on the home feed, initially starting to be that 9% engaging and commenting and liking, and then being brave enough to actually start to post. and post things of value that were of use to me and my profession, my company. I was always mindful that I was representing my company, so I was never like rogue. I always wanted to come across as a professional person and a good representative of my company's brand. So I do think that when companies do invest in the training of their staff, it does pay off dividends. And I know there is a stat, and I always forget the end of it. I know there was an advocacy program, and it was done over in the States, and I don't know if I've got it here, but I remember reading. I think they had. Do I have it? Sorry, guys. I don't think I have it here. It is in the white paper, so bear with me. We put a lot of stats in there, but it was basically saying an active advocacy, employee advocacy program saved one company 1.9 million in paid advertising, that exposure. So it just really does help reap dividends for the company. And I'll just give, before we wrap up in the next minute or two, there was an employee advocacy stat for HR that I wanted to share, and I'm pretty sure you'll all relate to this. 79% of all job applicants use social media in their job search, according to Glassdoor, okay? And companies are looking for employees as well on LinkedIn. And myself and Dion know, having done research before our white paper, we have brought up quite a few companies in different industries and fields, and then we've looked across their staff and we can see that a lot of companies are not investing in their employees because they all have haphazard profiles, different cover banners. Some of them have professional headshots, others have crop pictures on a night out. Some of them are representing their company as well, but it's definitely not trickling through the company. We can see there is no kind of social media policy in place for LinkedIn, and it's not a great impression.
I think that's the thing. You got to remember, as a business, your employees are your brand. They are representing your brand. They are showcasing, who you employ.
Yeah.
So definitely. As much as you don't want to take over their profile, because it is their profile, it's personal to them. However, if they're working for your company, to give them some guidance on the type of image that they should use for their profile picture, to give them, maybe a couple of different banners that they can use in the background, and help them to structure their page in the most professional way that makes them look amazing, is great for them and it's great for you. But remember that they are your brand. They are representing your company, and you want them to represent your company and themselves in the best possible way. Don't step back from it because you're kind of feeling, well, it's a social media platform, it's their profile, they can do what they want. And yes, to a certain extent they can, but they're still working for your business. They're still representing your business. When other people come to their profile and look at who they are and what they do, like it or not, they're going to form an opinion. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're going to form an opinion of that person based on what their profile looks like, or or what information's on there or not, as the case may be. So help them make it the best that it can possibly be for themselves, but also for you.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, I'm not going to go on too long. We've gone over a little bit, but that's because of our tech issues at the start. So thank you for bearing with us. And I'm delighted that we got Dion on at the end. As you can see, the joys of tech, you never know what's going to happen, but we were resilient and pushed through. So don't let it put you off attempting any tech, because, excuse the language, but shit happens sometimes, and you just have to push on through, and we got it to work in the end. So
yeah, sorry.
Much. We haven't really looked at the comments. We've been so caught up in chatting. I promise we will go in and we will have a look on the comments, and we will get back to you ASAP. There is actually a few. I tell you what, sorry, Gian, if you're okay, I'll kind of highlight a few questions just quickly to wrap it up, because I do feel bad because we got carried away yapping. I'm going to just bring this one up here from Steve. How do showcase pages fit in? Do they have good reach? What's the benefits? In my mind, showcase pages are not worth it, so don't bother. Okay, so quick answer, okay? So there's something that you can attach to your company page, and you could create a showcase page for a new product or a new service, but reach-wise, they don't get great reach. so a lot of people, so for example, if you were a business owner, maybe you've written a book, you could have a showcase page for that book, or you could have a showcase page. Just say you're a large company and you host an annual event, a conference. You could create a separate showcase page for that event, but they don't have great reach. So I would say focus on your company page first and get good traction there before you create your showcase page, okay? Because you won't get good reach at the start, definitely not. So I'd say focus on building your company page first, and then maybe down the line look into showcase. But yeah, they don't have great reach in my mind. So that's a quick one. Adam has said, forward-thinking companies will empower their employees to build their brand. Absolutely. I'm just going to show David has, what value do LinkedIn company pages have if personal pages are a bigger draw? Well, there's so much I could go into here, and this is a whole other LinkedIn live, and I promise I will do one on company pages. I have a blog written attached to my profile on company pages, and I've also just launched a new course on LinkedIn company pages called LinkedIn Company Page Success. The thing is, if you don't have the main reason, there's two main reasons for a company pages. One is brand positioning. So you want all of those employees to be linked to your company page, and you can see the logo on their profiles and they're showcasing your brand. Two is paid advertising. If you want to do any kind of paid advertising as a company, you need to have a company page. But another really important reason is you want to have a company page, because if you're just relying on individuals, okay, who build their network and their personal profiles, well, people change. They build up their networks and then they quit your company and they're gone. That's why you need a company page, because the company page will remain regardless. All employees can plug into it and it will carry on. And it's also a resource in one spot. Your employees will be saying disparate things all over the place on their individual profiles. Whereas when you come to a company page, it's a resource hub all in the one spot. And when people follow a company page, they're genuinely interested in that company. So when we connect with people as individuals, they may not necessarily be interested in what we do. They may be, but they may not. They're connecting with us as an individual. But when you follow a company page, you know what to expect, and you're signing up for what that company page is sharing. So I believe you need both. You definitely need both. And
would you say that employees that are sharing content from the company page also help to build the company page in that respect? Because if that content is then, if that person's then going back to that content on the company page or seeing what the company page is putting out because of the employee, then that must have an effect on helping to build that company page as well, I guess.
Yeah, and companies themselves can also use like user-generated content. Just say your company has a hashtag and all your employees start to use that hashtag. The person who's managing the company page can look up the hashtag and spotlight certain employees on the company page and things they're doing, whether it's achievements or blogs, whatever. So it's a great place to spotlight the achievements of your company and the achievements of the individual employees. So it's just a more targeted place to get more businessy as opposed to the individual profiles. But I do believe you need both, even though the individuals will have more power when sharing a post. I do think you need that company page for them to all be anchored to. Other than that, you just have a grayed out area on your profile, which kind of makes you think, is that a proper company? Is it credible? I know I always feel like that. If I look at anyone's profile and it's grayed out, I'm like, who is this person? What is this company? So I do think just from a basic branding kind of positioning thing, you really need to have that linked. And it's a great, because when you connect to anyone, you can see the company they work with at the very start of their profile, whether it's on the desktop or the app. So it is a great way to kind of reference back to the company. So I'm just going to click off that one. Okay, I'm just going to show one thing quickly from Esther and then we'll wrap up. So Esther said, companies put sections in your contract that says you must not put anything to do with the company on social media. Well, all companies should have their own social media policy. So it's always good practice to check out what is that policy and what are you permitted to share and what are you not permitted to share. And some companies will be stricter than others and some will be a bit more liberal. So yeah, definitely look back at your company's policy. And if you want to even discuss something, don't be shy to reach out to the comms team who created the policy and query things or maybe make updates.
I think that's more a lack of understanding, really. I mean, I can understand if it to a certain extent if it's Facebook or Instagram, but when it comes to LinkedIn, it's a professional platform, and it's there to serve the business as well as serve the employees, and get them in front of the right people. So if a company is going to have that kind of section in their contract, they can at least say, for LinkedIn, you're allowed to share content from a company page. You're allowed to put out, things about job vacancies and stuff like that, and give them that guidance. In terms of other platforms, if it's not relevant for that business, then don't post if they say don't post. But I think it's just educating companies on why LinkedIn should be used to benefit the brand as a whole and the company as a whole, and how it can be used to do that. And so it's just education, and that's what Jennifer and I are here to do. So we're on the educational trail right now to help companies to make the most of LinkedIn.
And it just ties in what you've just said to what Tiana is saying. Is it okay to share private information on LinkedIn? It is. Again, if you're an employee, you just have to be mindful of the social media policy. But we are all human beings at the end of the day. But you have to remember LinkedIn's different to Facebook and Instagram and all the other platforms. You still want to come across as professional. You can be a human being and you can show up as a human being, but I wouldn't say, I wouldn't be sharing personal stuff the whole time, unless, you just want to present yourself in the best light and your employers in the best light. So I think every now and again is fine. But if you were sharing something personal every day, I think these are the kind of things that are blocked in the social media policies, that the companies want to know you're on there and, you're using LinkedIn for work. It's not all about you as an individual. So you definitely can share personal information. Private information, I'm not sure what you mean. You might mean the sections of your contact info, so your email and your phone number and stuff like that. And it's a personal choice. I always listed my company email address because I was using it as a business resource, my number for people to contact me. If I'm honest, I've been on LinkedIn for absolute years. I think I've probably had one person phone me from LinkedIn ever. So don't worry too much about giving out information. We don't have all the time, and people cannot really scrape your email data or add you to a list without consent now with GDPR either, which is a benefit. So I wouldn't worry. You need to be contactable, because if somebody wants to connect with you and you're a bit slow at responding, and if you haven't listed an email or a phone number, can't get in touch with you. So what's the point of your profile? So I do think you need to share some contact information. So I don't know if that was on the right topic or not. I'm just going to end off on this because I like this one. Okay. So as Marsha says, really informative session, Jennifer and Dion. Thank you. And thanks for everyone for joining us. Sorry if we went a bit off tangent and a bit longer. We had a bit of tech issues at the start. But as Dion has said, this is what we're here for. Dion helps to put together programs for companies. I roll out workshops, webinars on LinkedIn, employee engagement and advocacy, raising your brand, tapping in. I had the pleasure at the end of 2020, I did 4 sessions for Hiscox for their staff. So I was able to do it for staff based in London and Miami and Bermuda. And it was great chatting with the employees and getting them empowered. And they created a whole lot of resources for their employees. Like Dion was mentioning, they had like options for different cover banners. They all had their professional headshots. They gave them content that they could use. They really gave them a lot of information and confidence, really. A lot of the employees messaged me after and thanked me because, now they know how to use LinkedIn. So they're going to feel empowered to use it for themselves and for their role and for the company. So on that note, I will wrap it up. I was going to say thank you so much, Dion, for joining us today. I really appreciate you persevering with tech.
Just a quick reminder, if anybody hasn't got a copy of the white paper and you'd like a copy, you can email myself or Jennifer, or send us a message via LinkedIn, to get a copy of it. We've both posted about it this week, so if you want to scroll through our posts, you can probably get a copy of it that way. But if not, just send us a message and we'll be happy to share that with you. So thank you, Jennifer, for inviting me on. And this is a really important topic that hopefully we can help companies improve their bottom line and improve their culture and their brand and their business overall.
Thanks, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm off to watch the telly now about the inauguration. Exciting time for the world. See you. Thanks, Dion.
Thank
See you.
Bye bye.